things are getting reset on me. Ooh, and now... What the hell? Well, that was weird. Now my camera reset too. That's really weird. Alright. Things are weird. So I installed a USB card on the computer to try to deal with everything. So we have an issue overrunning our freaking things. Yeah, we have an issue overrunning USB, basically, is what we're dealing with. At least I think that's what we're dealing with, so we'll see. We're going to be hanging out, doing some scanning. I got some parts I got to scan for a buddy, and then we're going to be scanning the Nextruder. As I told Surf Alex earlier, we are going to be keeping these internal only at the moment. We might have shared it with Surf Alex, but when we and others have requested his files, we've been told no. So I'm going to play that game, because I can play that game. Eventually we will be releasing it, just not right now. I also think my above light is really dim. It is dim. Why are you so dim? There you go. No, I'm like, it feels like my table's dark. All right, now my table's not dark. I'm also wearing a Wexter shirt because Wexter finally released Jar Jar Binks after 5 years or so of us complaining to him that he needs to do it. So, thanks, broski. I am using a powered USB. So that was one of the more recent upgrades that we did. We did a powered USB 3 5-meter extension, which gives me enough to be able to walk past the table and not have to trip over the cables. But because my webcam isn't running right now, something tells me that that USB card isn't working either. So that's a fun problem that I don't exactly know how to solve. And if that's the case, I'm just going to go back and plug it into one of the old ports, and it's going to be what it's going to be. Because, yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to... Really, that should be main with laptop small, is what that says to me. Which means something isn't right. Let me do this real quick. There should be, yeah, say I should be down there. It is looking for theoretically this. Let's see if I can get that to work. Nope. I cannot. I cannot. Which means we got to go back to the old way. So I need to go climb a shelf. Literally, I have been so slammed today. I have not really had the opportunity to do what I wanted to do today. So I'm sorry that we're doing some of this on the fly. Let me just make sure that I'm not an idiot. Yeah, no. And I tested this laptop last week. It was working the way that I was expecting it to work. So there is that. Deactivate, reactivate, nothing. All right. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta move some things around. It's probably gonna upset some things, but yeah, I gotta climb a shelf here. Ugh. So that doesn't work. That sucks, because I put a bunch of effort into making that work today. All right. I am positive that's what our problem is. That we are simply overrunning all of our USB devices. Okay, that is still running. My audio is still working. My audio is still working. Will my laptop work? Because that is kind of what we want. We kind of need the laptop here. Okay. All right, now my laptop works. So that's a plus. So unfortunately, that means we're probably not going to be dealing with the webcam at all today. So, sorry. I also really need to clean out here. It's a disaster. I'm very stressed. I am using OBS. Clearly, I have some other issues that we have to figure out. They're irrelevant for the purposes of what we're going to be doing today. So, I'm going to go back to my laptop because we're we have to pull up some stuff. Oh. So we need to go into our Artec scans. I need to find, is Frank's facts on here? No, they're not. Oh yeah, there they are. All right, so those are the pieces that I've scanned from my buddy Frank already, which means I've got some more pieces that we need to do. Hi, Amber. Hope you're having a good day at work. So I promised my buddy Frank that I would be scanning some of his parts. He basically wants to make a HOTAS, but have one that is also left-handed, which is super cool. We've done a lot of it already, and I think I'm down to like these 2 final pieces. So, yeah. How does an HDMI capture card have chromatic aberration? What? Is there something wrong with it? I cannot tell. Is there something wrong with... Does it not look good? I legitimately can't see it, so I'm sorry. And yes, that is a physical copy of Crysis. It is still sealed, by the way, too. It is a physical copy. All the blue surfaces have a cyan shadow on the left. They do. I don't have a solution for that. And I don't know why. I'm definitely seeing that, too. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm trying to buy better capture cards. This is part of what I'm doing, is buying better. I am spending so much money on nice capture cards. Yeah, I think they are the first. Who said that? Valen961, I think, is the first person to ever say something about Crysis. It's a digital signal. It's not your fault. It could be the cable. It could be the crappy capture card that I'm using, or it could be the other extension cable. There's so many options that could make it a problem. But, so basically, let me get the spider out, because we're probably gonna be using the spider for the most part today. I'll go back to the main here. So we have an Artec spider. A lot of you will note that that is not the most recent version. They have something called the Space Spider. That is newer than what we have. There is one difference that I'm aware of. And I'm sure Gleb or somebody from Artec that is currently probably watching this will correct me. And by all means, please do. But my understanding is that the real Space Spider versus the OG Spider, other than the fact that the Space Spider is blue, the OG Spider doesn't have temperature calibration. So, it does not have a fan that I'm aware of. However, I do believe that it can compensate for temperature. We are going to be building at some point a base for this that will screw into the quarter 20. That will put some air through it. So I just use a little USB port or something to do that. That is eventually, I guess while I'm at it, I'll get out the Leo as well. So I own both of these. Actually, I own all of our Artec scanners. I would love if Artec would give us scanners. So if someone wants to like tell Artec that they should sponsor us or something, that'd be great, because oh my god, these scanners are expensive. For reference, this scanner is $25,000. Now, used, they don't go for that much, but you take your risks on the gray market. This is the Artec Leo. The Artec Leo is $35,000. Or they'll correct me, it's $34,800. And you might say, Grant, those are very expensive. You could buy a nice car. You're right, I could, and that's why I drive a 22-year-old Honda. So, Spurluck says, who beheaded Johnny number 5? No. I know it does look like that. Some people will say it looks like Wally, but it's definitely Johnny 5. The nice thing about the Leo and why people would choose the Leo over the Spider or the Eva, and we have a couple of Evas, is the Leo is fully self-contained. It has a screen, It doesn't need a computer. It doesn't need anything where the spider must be tethered at all times. So my hope is to actually scan from the spider. The Leo can be online, but we keep ours offline. As a lot of you know, we deal with ITAR, and unfortunately, Artec used to be based in Russia. They have since moved their headquarters, and I believe they're now headquartered in either their Montenegro office or in their Luxembourg office. But because of the ties to Russia, you know, rather safe than sorry. So we keep the Leo offline. No offense to Artec, it's just business. The Leo and the Spider will ask for some startup warm-up time, but I'm probably not going to give it to them because ultimately we don't care too much if we're, you know, at 100 microns or 150 microns. It is effectively the same thing to us, so we don't care too much in that regard. But you will see when I go back to the laptop, as soon as I plug in the laptop, it will start showing some information. Also, if you want to know about the age, these use Mini B as their USB connection, so I give you kind of an age range. So we can see the scanner is currently at 26C, and it really wants to be at 53C. It will take time for it to warm up, and that's really the only way that we can get you know, higher resolution stuff out of it, is to let it warm up. So I'm going to plug it in as early as we possibly can. Valen says, mount the scanners to an army of Roombas and let them roam the neighborhood. I live down a dirt road, and they are way too damn expensive. So no, we're not going to be doing that. My God, no. Hilariously, not my most expensive scanners. We have an Artec Ray that is currently for sale. So if you are looking to get a long-range LiDAR scanner, let me know. We have it for sale. It is $60,000 brand new. I will sell it to you for half of that. And if you're really nice and you mention the video, I'll cut you a better deal. I just want to make sure that I don't rescan stuff. So we're going to pull up one of the older scans that we did here. Okay, that is a piece that I don't have on the tape. So that means that piece is still back here. I put all the pieces behind the set. April Fools. Yep, I never took them out. So, I want to show you guys some things. So, you can see there's names on them. So if I go, I think it's 4. Yeah. You can see the nameplates. So, we scanned that one a while back, including the back surface of it. And the back surface is actually one of the harder things. This scan is not perfect. This area up here, a little bit rough, and it's going to take some dialing in. But as far as a scan is concerned, you can get pretty much everything you need off of that. And we can see that between the two of them, we have a maximum error of 0.2 millimeters, which is, that's pretty damn good. For reference, that's incredibly good. So we don't need this part. It's just, I just gotta scan those two pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a new project. My buddy's name is Frank, and he's really, really intelligent. So whenever he goes off and spouts some amazing stuff about the knowledge that he has, we always call it a Frank fact. Hence the name of the folder being called Frank's Facts. So there you go. Bambi says, put all the parts I've already scanned in the bag. And if anybody has questions about 3D scanning, please let me know. So what I'm doing right now is I'm basically attaching this thing to a turntable. We're going to slow the table way down. Oh, that's just left and right. The table doesn't have any actual terms. All right, I think that's going to be as slow as it goes. Oh god, nope, 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 nope. Okay, that's it going back and forth. We're not going to be doing that. Is this the speed? One of these is speed. Yeah, okay, that one is definitely speed. All right. I will say there will be flash warnings throughout this video. So, if you're sensitive to light, I'm sorry, but these are all structured light scanners, so they flash light. You have been warned appropriately, so that's on you. We are going to start with, I want to know in the chat, are we going to do A sub or at blind? What are we starting with? So we need to spray these. We have to make sure that we spray them with either A sub or at blind. They're both a scan spray that will sublimate. We've got the at blind AB2, which is 1 to 2 hours. And then I have the blue A sub. They're both relatively the same. I will say A sub seems to do a better job on the coating, but it is much more expensive. Like, this can is $40 freaking dollars. No hate to A sub because they've got a decent product, but my god, it's expensive. Valen asks, how do I interact with the model that comes out of the scanner? Can we open and modify it in SolidWorks? Also, does it know how big the part is in real life, or do you have to scale it? So, this produces a triangulated mesh. Normally, like an STL or an OBJ is what you would be used to. That is still the big challenge with 3D scanning right now. We don't have a good solution from scan to CAD. There is software out there that exists. Geomagic Design X is the one that most people will use. And that, I kid you not. Let's see if I can, is this me the right one? Nope. Where's the one that zooms in on me? There. That one is $10,000 a year. Like, the cheap version of it is 10 grand a year. So, I think this arm fell a little bit. I feel like the camera's whatever. But yeah, Geomagic is 10 G's a year for the cheap version. I think you can get it as low as like 8. So that is a problem. In terms of scale, yes. And it's why we like the Artec scanners. They're expensive for a reason. Yes, your RivaPoint Morocco can likely scan this. Your RivaPoint Mini can likely scan this. Your 3D Maker, Mold, whatever the hell they're naming their scanners now, can likely scan this. But none of them are going to give you an accuracy report. And Artec does. It not only knows the size, but it knows the deviation that it has. And that is up to deviation. That's actually certifiable deviation for us. So, Berlin says, is there a cheap alternative for people that do a one-off scan with photogrammetry and stuff? Yeah, there is. It's called dry shampoo or foot powder spray or talcum powder. In fact, this is my scanning bag. And in my scanning bag, I got a bottle of talcum powder. Now, it's not actually talcum powder. It's cornstarch, right? So you buy the talc-free baby powder. It's cornstarch. The only thing with all of those solutions is that they all are permanent. You have to wash them off. While the spray is expensive, it just sublimates and it goes away on its own. I don't have to do anything. So, yeah. Diomedes is saying they use Polycam. This blows Polycam out of the water, to be clear. And you'll see. People are like, oh, well, I can use Polycam. You absolutely can. Polycam is great for what it is, even though they were like 40 minutes late to our podcast episode, which still upsets me. But it cannot get the detail that this can. So we are going to get moving here. We're only at 40C, but that's fine. I think normal resolution. I'm going to go up just a little bit on my resolution. Oh, wait, that's texture brightness. What am I doing? Cool. Where is my model sensitivity? I'm going to turn our sensitivity up just a little bit. We're going to see when we can see it. Hey, Ben, you should scroll up and see some of the comments I left. And so here we go. Now, this scanner will max at 8 frames per second. It's not very fast, but for our purposes, it's fine. Why does it need to warm up? Well, the optics in it are quite precise, and if they're too cold, they don't work well. Which is, it seems like kind of a stupid thing to say, but yeah, as stuff heats up, it tends to expand a little bit. We're going to let it go on one more rotation, even though better judgment says to leave it alone. Just want to make sure that we get all of the surfaces. Going to go up to the top here. All right, that's all that we need. So because we were hand-holding that one, you get limited when you're hand-holding, right? You're not going to get much better than like 0.1, 0.2 when you're hand-holding. Interestingly, I can come in here. I double-click. DaVinci said they got the Creality Otter scanner. I want to get that Creality Raptor scanner, but I am not paying $1,500 for it. And the software crashed. Good job, Artec. We've seen that happen a lot recently, and I don't really know why. It didn't run out of resources, but the software absolutely just crashed on me. Good job. We'll see if it remembered it. It might not. Good job, Artec. I've said a lot of nice things about you, and then you go and do this to me. I thought we were friends. For reference, I'm not running a very high-end computer, so there is that. Let's see. It is gray, which means it likely found something. Ah! Alright, it's all still there. Benefits! Benefits of paying a ton of money for your scanning software. It remembers when it crashes. It's fine. It takes us like 2 seconds to redo this. I'm not worried about the time and everything to redo the scan. So I do... What is it? I don't know if my mouse is disconnecting every now and then or the software is a little bit laggy. It's probably my mouse. I'm going to save the project real quick. Oh yeah, it's the last thing we were doing was with Zach. Down here to... Where's Frank's service? There he is. This is... I think this is just a trigger. Set folder. I think that's what this is. So at least we have a save of it. We're going to take a look. I'm going to have to use this. So this is where the scanner kind of lets you know its known errors. So I can just sort by error and look at, there's 3 frames total that have more than 0.1 millimeters of deviation. And we can see that that frame captured 11,000 polygons, which is just insane. This is all fine. I'm not too worried about it. For reference, that little scan was 8 million polygons, 8.9 million polygons. This is a big benefit of the Artec software. I can just go to autopilot. Autopilot is going to take care of a lot of that BS for me because clearly I am not a big boy and I don't know what I'm doing. And I say that somewhat facetiously, but if you are new to this, knowing how to use the scanners it's kind of tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Object size, it is small. Watertight is fine. All of that is fine. On the editing side, all we really need to do is just do a cutoff plane, or I guess we can do a base selection. Control click gives you your movement here. We're gonna get our base selection. We're gonna make sure it does, unfortunately, go up into the part a little bit. So what we can do is we can come in here with 3D. Okay. Control, Alt, and then the mouse will deselect arrange. So I just need to go around and click all the frames. Now you might say, Grant, this looks like crap. You're right, it does. It's not designed to look great right now. This is literally the raw pixels and the raw polygons. I think my mouse is dying. That the scanner itself captured. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent is all there. We can now erase. Now we can move on to the next step. How big can I go on a piece before the computer poops the bed? So this is not a very powerful computer. And so that is definitely something to keep in mind. I only have 32 gigs of RAM, which is absolutely a limiting factor on this computer. So, yeah. But yeah, RAM is normally your limiting factor. There's something that I do like about Artec's software is that it actually does a decent job of resource management. Now, I did click fully watertight, so it doesn't... I just have to go back and cut that off. But the rest of the scan looks absolutely beautiful, and it's done. Like, we're done. That's all we need to do. I do want to go back into editing. We'll go to the eraser. I'm going to select a cutoff plane. Do that. And we are going to erase that. See if I can get a little bit more in there. Yeah. So if we want to decrease or increase, it's just the scroll wheel. So I can come in here and just really refine what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep. And yes, there are turntables that have markers and stuff like that on them. This scanner doesn't require any of that. It's actually one of the main selling features for me of the Artec products. This really sounds like an ad. I promise they're not paying me. Not yet, at least. It'd be really nice if they did. Be really nice if Artec wanted to kick me some money, because y'all know your scanners are expensive. But I'm not gonna lie, like Artec's a software company that makes hardware. That's what Artec is. They're a software company. And if they call themselves anything other than a software company, I think they're lying to themselves. No! Leave me alone. I'm not restarting my PC. Stop it. But yeah, Artec's a software company. Is that a through hole? That might be a through hole that we didn't do a good job on. Now we're gonna go here to fill holes. We've got 2 different holes to fill. And we're not gonna hate when it does that. We're gonna go smooth, fill holes. Oop, excuse me. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go flat. And we're gonna fill the holes. Yeah. Updates in middle of stream. Yeah, no chance. And this is literally just a cheap turntable that I got on Amazon. I think they were like $10. So, something else to note. Take a look at... Nope. There. You can see how some of the scan spray is already starting to sublimate off the model. So, yeah. S. Dibble says, why I run Linux, also why I don't have a scanner yet, because I avoid Windows. Look, I get it. I understand. It is what it is, man. You're gonna have to say, well, okay, I'm gonna have to, you know, do less this way so I can have more this way, and that is what it is. All right. Also, like the stream. If you haven't liked the stream, we got like 46 people here, and only a couple of likes. We should fix that. This is the hardest part. So like I'm happy enough with this part. Like, yes, it could probably use some further clearing, and that is a through hole. So actually, let's use the fix hole. Sorry. We want to do the editor. I'm not gonna bother with this today. We really wanted to, we could construct circles in here and dig it out, but I think for the purposes, we're all right. I do want to point something out. When there's no texture applied, that's when you can really look at the detail of scanners. And I think that's pretty damn good, considering that part is literally smaller than the palm of my hand. Something new. All right, we'll go to a new project, I think. Which should automatically save that last one. I sure as hell hope it did. We used a sub last time. So let's use some Atblime on this one. Why not? Used one, now I gotta use the other. Is there not a ball in the Atblime? I guess there isn't. Nope. Okay. Atblime feels more like, I'm trying to think of like the right way to describe it. Like alcohol and maybe a little bit of a powder that evaporates, but I think Atblime is mostly alcohol based. A sub, whatever the hell is in it, absolutely sucks. It's a bitterate. But you notice the Atblime takes longer to actually get white, whereas the A sub kind of gets to its final whiteness, if you will, very, very quickly. Also, I have the heavy smell of alcohol in the air versus the heavy smell of a different bitterant, so... If it's not going fast enough, you can literally blow on it, and that does help. So I need to get into the holes so we can try to scan the holes. I don't know if it's going to work for us to scan the holes. All right. We're going to go for it. So you can see, literally, this scanner maxes at 8 frames a second. And so the fact that this old computer can actually still do pretty decent means it's good enough for me. Valen asks, what is the weirdest thing that I've scanned? Oh, you know what? I want to enable real-time fusion here. I think that'll actually look really cool for you guys. By the way, that was 500,000 polygons in that, like, 2 seconds. We're going to do real-time fusion so you guys can actually see what real-time fusion looks like. It will slow down the process a little bit. The scanner's not going to go as high in frames because we're literally going to start to run out of resources. But yeah, anyways. But with real-time fusion, is actually producing a 3D model on the fly, which is incredibly unique. I don't know of any other scanners that do it. Valen is asking the weirdest thing that we've scanned. You don't want the answer to that. You really don't. I mean, I guess the weirdest that, like, we've been reasonably public about is Steve Aoki, but with no clothes on. Although, technically, he had boxer briefs on, but the final model was not a clothed model. Coolest thing for most people is the professional sports teams that we scan. That's normally something that, like, the average person thinks is super, super cool. I'm not big into sports, so it's not that big of a deal to me. But it means that we are ideal for scanning professional sports teams because I'm not going to sit there and drool over the players because I don't know who they are. Love it or hate it, it does work. Although, yes, I do know who Tom Brady is. I just don't care. These are just regular people to me. And they need a service, and we provide the service. That's all. Just making sure that I get the side of this as well. Just making sure that we get really good detail on the side. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And so now we actually get 2 different models. Oh god, our error's really high. Let's see why. I say it's probably only a couple of scans. Ooh, the error's really high on a few of them. Alright, it should work itself out. 1.2 millimeters is a little high on this, but whatever. We'll send it anyways. That's the thing that a lot of manufacturers don't tell you. It is up to. The spider is up to 50 microns. It is not 50 microns. It is up to 50 microns. This is a small model. I'm gonna leave. Oh wait, what am I doing? I don't care about this right now. Absolutely want to put autopilot. We're not there yet because we need to flip this thing over. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off that scan. I don't mind Appline, but I do think A-Sub does a better job, personally. But I think Appline is like half the cost, so... yeah. There's that. And I'm blowing on it because I need to. I don't want this to take forever, so... because once we're done with this, we need to go ahead and do the extruder, the XL tool head as well. Like old school gaming, man. 7 frames a second and we're still having a bunch of fun. This might seem like boring to you guys, but I do promise there is reasons for everything. This one right now is to help a friend out. I don't normally do this kind of stuff because it's normally very, very expensive, but it was a buddy that asked, and I think I've had these pieces for like well over a year. And I'd like to get him his parts. We still got some holes in there that we wanna look at filling. Those holes are kind of an important thing to the model. We want to make sure we get into them. I think it's pretty good. Hobby Hand says, I have a few things I want to scan, but the item is black and is electronic, so I don't want to spray it with anything. Any thoughts? A-Sub is theoretically safe. I've never sprayed. I will be spraying electronics here soon, so I'll be spraying the XL tool head in situ. It should be fine. I'm told by users that use the spray all the time that yes, it's totally fine. I haven't done it myself, so yeah. All right, so we got that one flip, and I think we have a surface where I can stand it. Is there going to be a way that it doesn't fall over on me? I guess I can stick it to the surface. Dang. This is always the hardest part. The hardest part is always dealing with, like, how you support something In like any method of 3D printing, supporting is always the most complicated piece. Nope. And every time I touch this thing, I start rubbing off some of that coating. Alright, that should be good enough. Oh, it is. It's wobbly. Don't touch the table too much. It is very wobbly. Old retro gaming consoles, they should be fine. Look, I'm not gonna sign off and say, oh, that's, you know, the only thing, right? But it should be fine. Hobby Hands, welcome to Basic Support. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Would I have, or do I have a video on a cheaper scanner like the RevoPoint Inspire? I have 2 RevoPoints. I've never tried and never did well with scans yet. Yeah, I have. We did a video on the Mini. I didn't like it. I mean, it was good when it worked, but its tracking was so bad that it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to keep trying. RevoPoint's a hardware company that also happens to make software. Artec's a software company that makes hardware. And so this will help it align the 2 really good scans. For reference, my software is more than most RevoPoint scanners. This software is $1,200 a year, and in fact, I'm due for a renewal here relatively soon. I'm not looking forward to. So Artec, you should kick me some license. You should kick me like 2 or 3 licenses in perpetuity for free. That'd be great. I would love that. I feel like I've shown your stuff on this channel enough. You should work with me, please. My wallet, it hurts. Mind you, you know, these are not hobby grade scanners. It's nice to have access to it. They're not hobby grade scanners. And they're not designed for hobby grade. Alright. That'll be good enough. John Olson says, unrelated scanning, how's the Trident working? I have not used it much. Unfortunately. Alright. Autopilot. Next. We're not gonna do anything that's watertight right now. And so we can see if we look at object size, it's gonna tell us small, medium, large. This one probably still falls. Yeah, it's under 5 centimeters for sure. Everything else we're gonna leave. We're gonna edit. Oh, don't crash, please. Thank you. Ah, yes, all the noise that comes with scanning. Base selection, all your base are belong to us. Uh-oh. Don't crash. Don't do it. You're gonna crash. I know you're gonna crash. Oh, you suck so much. Don't crash on me. Oh, come on. I've been so nice to you. Sometimes. Yeah, I have not really been using the Trident. It still needs a bunch of work for it to be safe. Oh, hey, it worked. Nice. The Trident still needs a bunch of work for it to be safe. So that's something that I need to figure out first. I'm just going to go ahead and erase this stuff because it's going to help this point cloud out a lot. We have a ton of just excess garbage. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and save the project. I don't even know what to call this. It's not beating up my PC, no. Even that's fine. Okay, it's not gonna let's do it until it's done with the auto, whatever. We're gonna go ahead and auto align. This is where we get to find out if this is gonna be good or bad. So let's take a look. Nope. Nope. That is not properly aligned, unfortunately. We're going to have to align manually. You know what? I know what I'm going to do. We're going to quit the autopilot. We're going to take each of these through the autopilot stage first, one at a time. And then align them together. I think it will be cleaner to do it in that way. I've done it both ways. This will be fine. Small. Right now we're not going to fill. Next, we don't need to do any of that. Remember, this is only a 4-core, 8-thread laptop with 32 gigs of RAM. This is not, like, it's a 3750H Ryzen processor. Like, Artec has decent software. And, like, don't get me wrong, it beats the hell out of my computer. But it's enough. It's enough. Now, mind you, we're not scanning right now, and the scanner is already at temp, so I'm going to unplug the scanner for a little bit, let it cool down. This is one of those cases where I do wish that it had a fan in it so it could cool down. Because if it does get too hot, it won't scan anymore. So you got to play that game, which is not a fun game to play. And so yeah, like that's much cleaner. Do we have all the holes? No, we don't. Do we need them? Probably not. Not immediately, at least. But having this model that's cleaned should allow them to be aligned a little bit easier, I think. Also, how's everybody's day going? We're going to start doing giveaways during the live streams. I am trying to get some companies on board. I know some of the other streamers do like Polymaker filament. I want to do a different company. Let's see if we can give away a roll of filament every stream. I think that'd be fun. I don't know. You guys have to tell me what you think. I think it would be fun. Ah, yes, texturing. The slow part. Shane says he's not fixing that Nextruder. Don't worry, it's number 5. This is number 5 off of the machine. This is the one with the rusty pins. Thankfully, it's a non-contact system, so I ain't touching it. All right. Now we got to do it with number 2. Same deal. Next, small, don't fill. Skip editing because we don't need it. Let's just go through this over and over again. How you doing, Shane? How's Prague Maker Fair? Was it fun? Looked like you guys had a bunch of fun. Prague Maker Fair sounds like it's right around the time when I should be visiting Prague. Not in the middle of December. Although, the next piece up is the Nextruder. So, I don't know the best way to scan it. I would prefer in an orientation... no. I'm gonna unplug this so I can put this correct. This is like the ideal positioning to scan it. Might need like something under it to keep it from rocking over. It's always the hard thing is like how do you mount stuff, right? It's always a weird one. Model is ready. Now we got to go to number 3. It's all the same thing. Next, small, don't fill. Next, skip the editing. let the rest of that play. And while that's going, I'm going to keep trying to find the right way to mount this. Shane said, hey, you got to experience a Prague Christmas market while it was snowing. Very rare. It was super cool. I'm not going to lie. I don't love the snow, but, like, there are many worse things in the world. Like Florida. No, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I want to go back again. It's part of the plan. Whether or not it happens is still to be determined. We'll see. I'm like, oh, Shane, I'll share the scans with you. Shane doesn't need the damn scans. Shane has the CAD that I don't have. And it's why I'm doing the scans, because I don't have the CAD. Alright. I just put a bunch of sticky tack on it. Even the sticky tack's not holding. It sucks. Alright, so we have 3 models that are now ready. We're going to turn them all on. We're going to go to Align. We're going to align these. We're going to do Best Fit. We're going to do Auto for all the points. Now, Align. And if this works, it should just figure it out. It's kind of the goal. The goal is it just kind of figures it out. Let's do the old tape trick. Ha! Tape trick works. Things like rolls of tape that are kind of... Oh. Okay. Well, it's angry. Fine. Alright, first thing is, we're going to go ahead and save it. Because... yeah. I'm going to save it as button holder. Because if it crashes again, I don't want to have to redo it. Berlin says, for mounting, is it not possible to use a monochromatic color like green or magenta sticky tack and the software can automatically key it out? If it was black, that might actually work. I've never bothered because often the sticky tack's not that big of a deal. And for the Nextruder that we're going to be scanning, I don't actually care about the bottom of it. I only need the top. I'll go through what we're currently working on first. I might have to do this later on, which is going to suck. Because, like, auto would be amazing, but I don't think it's going to work. Wait, actually... yeah. I'm gonna mark as register. Oh, jeez. So we want number 3 to be the register. Alright, let's see if that works. I don't know if that's gonna work. Shane says should. Nope. Okay. That is going to be a future grant problem because current grant doesn't want to deal with that. So now we're actually going to get on to scanning the actual thing that we came here to scan, which is the Nextruder. I am like dead certain we're going to have to what am I thinking? Spray it, but I'm going to try with the Leo first. The Leo is going to be the more forgiving of the 2 scanners. Unfortunately, with the Leo, you guys can't see anything. I don't exactly have a good way for you to be able to see what I'm doing with the Leo. It does have a wireless function, but we don't utilize it. So this is the Leo. It is just fully self-contained. The Leo can go up to 80 frames per second. I don't know if it's going to be able to scan this, though. We'll see. I don't actually think it's going to work. I don't know. I'm going to hit it and see what happens. See what happens here. Oh, yeah, no. No, the Leo cannot do it. Not a chance. The other problem with the Leo is it's not designed to do really, really tiny stuff. Yeah, I don't even care about reconstructing that scan. So we're going to spray it. I'm going to use the A-sub. I trust the A-sub a little bit better here. Forgive me, Joe, for I'm going to sin a little bit. But thankfully, this all just disappeared. Not that big of a deal. It's not going to affect the plastic. I've sprayed expensive Mercedes before, so this is not that big of a deal. Okay. Alright, good enough. I'm making Shane all types of nervous right now, and I think that that's hilarious. There you go. There's a Nextruder. Oh, too far. Go down just a little bit. Oh. Up a little bit more. Thank you. Ah, perfect. All right. We're gonna add a scan here. We're gonna see if I can do it on the. So not fixing that now. That's okay. You don't have to. Right. Leo doesn't like it. We're going right back to the spider. It's not spray paint. It's called A-sub. It's a very, very expensive $40 a can paint designed for this. It sublimates. It leaves no certain. You'll just bear with me, damn it. It's not real spray paint. It sublimates off. It's fine. Yeah. Just do it. But it lets me do this. And I can now pretty much claim that I have the most accurate model of a Prusa XL Nextruder outside of Prusa Research themselves. Because I do. I'm not certain of many other places that are willing to crack out a $25,000 3D scanner because they want to change cooling on a $4,000 3D printer. But I'm here for it. Just look up the spray, Shane. Jesus. It's fine. If I can spray a $150,000 Mercedes, I can spray this. It's fine. So what we're doing here is we're trying to get a base mesh for what the XL looks like. We've got the actual scan for, or not the scan, we have the CAD for a lot of the pieces on it, but we don't know where they belong in space. And that's the current issue, is where it all goes in space. And until we can solve that issue, we can't work to really finalize our model of the fan. I will look up the paint. Love you, buddy. Miss you. I'm going to go down a little bit more just so we have it. It's probably not necessary, to be honest. But literally, you can see where my paint starts and stops. Look at the difference. It's not paint, it's A-sub. It's not real paint, it sublimates. It's 40 bucks a can. You can read Prusa research on it. Like, give me a break. Alright, that's gonna be more than enough. That's gonna be more than enough. Yeah, so right at the end when it went red, I lost my tolerance. Probably gonna cut all of that out. And yes, I can just cut stuff out. Yes, $40 can of paint. Whatever, brother. It's fine. It's Shane. Don't worry about it. Let him troll. Just let him troll. It's fine. Alright, this one is medium. We're not going to fill anything. I'm going to go next. Next. And so, on a piece like this, we really don't need much beyond the fan. However, we're going to leave... I'm going to just select the base at this point. And that'll just kind of help us out. Alright. I know we're missing the underside of the fan. It's not that big of a deal. Now, Shane's actually going to see as it... Like, look, the silicone is already turning black again. This stuff is super, super cool, and it's why it's 40 bucks a can. Because it can do this without too many issues. Be nice, Tars, man. Jeez. Shane is literally just messing around. It's fine. I don't care. Hilariously, I thought that the Leo was going to do a good job. The Leo was struggling. And users are not contaminated by any pigments. Yeah, but it stinks. It's got a bitterant in it that I really don't like. I can see employees in the back ripping the label off of white Rust-Oleum paint and slapping on the label. Oh, that would be just dastardly. I mean, I can see people doing it too, but that is... Oh, God, that's... Dude, talk about, like, having a disgruntled employee. Man, don't piss off your employees if you make a company that does, like, really high-end scan spray. So Fusion is really where we want to look to see what's going on with the model. Dane says, OMG, I want to do that with Grant now at Hobby Hands. Thanks for the idea. Come on, Shane. Oh. It got rid of the hot end. Let me abort that procedure. Damn it. Yeah. It got rid of the hot end because it's not attached to anything. That's hilarious. Yeah, the hot end's not attached. I'm like, why did it get rid of it? Because the hot end's not attached to anything. You can read. It's not the clearest, but you can read it. So, of course, things that I can't see don't get scanned, right? This is kind of obvious. I'm going to try to do a little bit more work around the hot end and get under the fan a little bit. So, we're going to actually leave that. Because the cool thing about the spiders, we should be able to pick it back in. That's hilarious. Huh? Using, like, a whole roll of filament worth of spray on this, too. And I want you guys to know I probably could email the right people and get what I want. But this is way more fun. Right? Like, we met a lot of people at Prusa. Okay? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but, like, could just email people and ask. But what fun is that? The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to... Whoop. Jeez. I'm going to put the turntable up on some rolls of filament. I will adjust the camera, don't worry. Shane is literally just watching here saying all the ways that he can avoid my warranty. It's fine. I got a little light dusting of the areas that I friggin' touched. Alright. Is that good? That's good. I'll move the camera, don't worry. Just takes me a second to do all this. I know, unsub. I know, unsub. My heart. Why? I feel like that's just a benefit for you, right? Let's see if it'll pick it back up. It should pick it back up. So again, our goal here is to create a more CFD optimized fan duct for the Prusa XL. It works, it's just, it's not the best. And unfortunately, all the ones that we've tried all kind of have the same issues, right? They don't have enough, you know, like, they look cool, but they don't freaking work. And working is kind of the thing that matters, right? If the thing don't work, then it's not worth its weight. I hate that it spins so fast. I might clip and share that with tech support. It's like I've already talked with them. But go ahead, that's fine. I'll message you privately, Shane. We can talk about this offline if you'd like. I'm just redoing the scan at this point. It's just safer. Like, it's no, we are getting a little hot, so we're over the 53C, which is a bit of a bummer. That's okay. At this point, I should probably stop scanning, but this is okay. We're going to capture more data than we need. But I'd rather have too much than not enough. I got too close. Alright. Should be fine. That fun feeling when it goes red on you. I wonder if it's going to be able to align these. I bet it will. I was hoping it was going to pick it up, but it didn't. We're not going to fill. Everything else is fine. I'm going to skip editing. I don't think we need it. I'm going to auto-align and see what it looks like. Hobby Hand says, wish I had a reason to buy one of those. I do have a CR scan, and it's been good enough for my hobby. And for the bulk of you, it will be plenty. Oh, I guess it's not. All right, let's see how it looks. Are we aligned? Yeah, we are. That's great. Great, great, great. Sweet. That's what we want to see. I know it looks like crap. Just give it a second. This is why this software is so expensive. It does just freaking work. So what kind of random thing should I tell Shane is wrong with my XL when we're done with the stream? Hobby Hands says, I'm not doing things that require that kind of dimensional accuracy, and that's fine. That's totally fine. Like, you don't have to be, right? Like, ultimately, it's not that big of a deal. Use what works for you. What works for me doesn't always work for you, and the only reason I have this stuff is because we have clients that request specifically these scanners. Right? So the client that we scan all the sports teams for, they request Evas and Leos. So I've got 2 Evas and a Leo. Now, I only bought my second Eva because we are looking at doing some sort of rental program where you could rent a scanner plus a laptop and all of that from us so that you could do your scans like every 24 hours, maybe charge like, you know, $400 to $500 for 24 hours. I don't know. Haven't really come up with the entire business model around it, but I had an opportunity to buy another Eva at a really good price, so I took it. It's funny when you have like something that's retail cost 20 grand just sitting. It does kind of suck. Is that the AB2 from @Blime? It is. Have I tried their ABX? I had great results with it. No, I haven't. @Blime, and I bought the A-Sub. @Blime sent me this can and a couple of other cans after they saw me using A-Sub. They're like, don't use that A-Sub, use our stuff. I'm like, all right, send me your stuff. Yes, that was kind of funny for me, right? I was being a little cheeky when I said it, but I wasn't technically lying. But no, I haven't used it. I still have like all my regular stuff. James Kerbal says, what I think of the Einstar. I think the Einstar is the best value 3D scanner under $1,000. If Tarsman, if you're watching, can you grab the affiliate link out of our Discord and toss it in? That'd be great. The only problem with the Einstar is it needs like a $2,000 computer to work. It's what I don't like. Again, it's like Shining 3D is a hardware company that is a hardware company that also makes software. And I've been to Shining 3D. They've got an office here in Tampa. They have 2 offices in the United States. One is like 30 minutes from me. The other one is on the other side of the country. And it was awesome. Like, I got to play with like about $500,000 worth of equipment. But, you know, they make great hardware. Their software still leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. If you have a rip-roaring, rockin' computer that's just got all the bells and whistles for all the reasons, then you're going to love the Einstar. But if you have an older computer like I do, the Einstar is going to chug. Which I laugh at, because my $20,000 scanner works just fine. My $1,000 scanner, less than $1,000 is what that Einstar costs. My $1,000 scanner barely works for a couple of minutes. So, it's always funny. By the way, that's the HOTAS that we were scanning earlier. We're good. We're good. We're good. I got it. Oh, it looks good. It's fine. It'll buff out. Dave says, clipping that! Again, stop simplifying my meshes. I don't want you to do that. Stop simplifying my meshes. don't like when you do that. Leave. I need that nozzle in place. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I can't get under it, so it's not going to give me the detail that I need. But this should be enough. I wonder if I should scan it with the... I don't know, because the step file for this already exists, so we're okay. We're going to go through things manually. So traditionally, I don't do this, because this is just faster. Yeah, absolutely not. Only max at 0.2. That's all fine. Oh, wait a minute. It's like that's what we care about. We care about fusion. So what I would like to do, I don't want a fast fusion, I want a smooth fusion. Or an accurate fusion, which is what we're going to do there. Nomad's Galaxy says, hey, buddy. How you doing? All right. 57.9 seconds to complete that, by the way, just so you guys kind of have an idea of what things take. Ah, my mouse is dead. All right, well, I'm doing it the old school way. For reference, that model's 3.2 million polygons. Astro Lemonade asks, what is our reason? I unfortunately don't think that the cooling on the Nextruder for the XL is appropriate. We don't find it to provide enough cooling specifically on PETG, and the fact that you can literally see it as only a single side cooling is an issue. So our first goal is to look at making a CFD optimized airflow fan shroud for the XL. If we can't do that, and because the problem with the fan that Prusa chose, and I'm sure they have their reasons, but there's a problem with it. It has about as much static pressure as a mouse fart. Like, it's less than 1 inch of water worth of a mouse fart. And unfortunately, it's not enough. So we're going to look if we can make a better, more flow optimized fan shroud for it. Or, now that we have a accurate to within 0.2 millimeter scan of the entire tool head and the areas that matter to us, we could look at completely replacing the fan with something else. So, as much as I don't want to do that, because, like, it's not what I like to do. However, it's kind of a necessity. It's what we need to do. So I'm gonna simplify this to about 1 million polygons. Want 1 million. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That should be 1 million. I'll just go fast. Fastest. No, regular's better. Regular's better. Keep edges is fine. This is the new American unit of measurement, mouse farts. Well, like, you can look it up, right? Because it's open source. Prusa lets you research this, and there's not enough static pressure. There just isn't. I wish that there was. Interestingly, they say it's a 6,500 RPM fan, but it's not. It's 6,500 RPM when the shroud is on it. Which is a very interesting thing for us to find out. So. Try some Magneto X fans. There is no room. So the other problem that we run into with the XL, and while that's doing its thing, I will go to this. Other thing that we run into with the XL is that it has a whole like docking station system, right? Where it needs to go in and come out and not have the fan here contact something else. So that's again like a further problem that we deal with. Let me just zoom on in down here. Move some stuff out of the way. There you go. So we have just that single-sided flow, which for the most part does work fine. But when you are trying to run fast print speeds, this is not sufficient. This is what we're doing to solve it. Now, the cool thing is, because it's open source, we will be sharing these results, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, with Prusa Research. There are staff at Prusa that are aware that we are doing this, but if we do choose to, if we can do it better than they can, which would be kind of funny if we can, but if we can, we're going to give it to them, and we're going to let them produce it for the XM. So like, that's my goal for all of this, is so that all of our printers can be better. But with tool changers, you run into some pretty serious issues when it comes to, just dealing with space constraints. Space constraints is the biggest issue for tool changing 3D printers. And so if we can solve that problem, well then, hey, we're in a much better position than we were previously. XL CPAP mod soon TM. We went down this road, and we could do a CPAP. It would have to have a blast gate system. It ends up being a lot more wires. Our goal is to add as little weight to this system as possible. The XL doesn't have tunable input shaping, so it doesn't have the ADXL on it that we're aware of. Obviously, we can work with Prusa to get custom stuff made, should what we produce is better than stock. But I also am well aware of the fact that Prusa puts so much time, effort, money, and energy into making this as good as it possibly can. So I'm not certain we're going to succeed. In fact, I'm relatively certain we're going to fail. But that's okay. Part of this is that you learn as you fail. And I care way more about learning than I do about success. At least in this. So, by the way, that took 241.7 seconds. And we're now down to how many polygons? 1 million exactly polygons. Gotta love it. Okay. We're not going to do a remesh. We don't need to do that. In fact, I'm not even going to bother with smoothing. I actually think pretty much this model is ready to go. I mean, guys, yes, okay. Some of the fan blades fused together, but it got most of the freaking fan blades, all right? Let's be real here. Ben, I know Ben is working on this one as well. Is there anything else that I need to do for you here? So I don't know if there is. Valen says, how about external part cooling, like having some delta fans blowing air from the sides of the printer? Most speed demons use this system. The only downside is noise. So, yes, there is an option for that. Our goal is to retain all factory settings, and the initial goal right now is just a new fan duct, and that's it. We don't have to change anything else about the machine, right? All we're doing is changing out a fan duct. If we have to go farther, the goal is to make it fully compatible with the XL. That the XL won't know that we've changed out fans completely. We have some leads on some really, really powerful 5015 blowers that might work for this, but we're really space constrained. So, Jonathan says, I assume you've tried the various XL fan shrouds on printables. We have, and none of them are any good. And I think I know why. It is, and as we've said it before, the amount of static pressure on the XL Delta fan they use can only be characterized by a mouse fart. There's very, very, very little static pressure, which ultimately it is what it is, right? I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for why it is what it is. Prusa made the decision. They decided that was the move they wanted to do. And so that's their prerogative. I will, as a user, say, I think we can do better. And so I'm going to do better. Or, damn it, we're going to die trying, you know? So, that's my goal. My goal is either to figure it out or learn a hell of a lesson along the way. And because it's open source, we are well within our right to do this. So, that is, that's what I love about this community. And, in fact, we can even give back the work that we do to Prusa, and then they can look at implementing it to make the XL better. And to me, that makes all of this totally worth it. Totally, totally worth it. Oh, that goes down here. I'm like, I don't know where all these damn levers and buttons and crap go. Yeah, that goes right there. Ah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm also gonna do a really big multicolor Jar Jar on the XL, because why not? But yeah, part of the process for all of this is computational fluid dynamics, or CFD, is a really, really complicated set of processes. And often you need a really expensive license in Fusion to do it. So we happen to have that, so we're going to work with what we got. Let me make sure that I don't need any others. I don't think that we need any further scans on this. I just asked on Twitter. Yes, I do. Not only do we, but we have staff that are well trained in it. Ash says, I hate Jar Jar. That's why I call Jar Jar Abrams, because he ruined Star Trek with 2 crappy movies, and it's like he's made that horrible Discovery show. I think you mean Star Wars. I think you mean Star Wars, not Star Trek. Anyways. He ruined Star Wars too. I'm not gonna lie, Phantom Menace is probably the worst one. When I was a kid, it was freaking cool. Just saying. Yeah. Comparing J.J. Abrams to Jar Jar. 8 and 9 were both worse than 1. I could not tell you because I never watched them. Sorry. Maybe DMing you later about safety. Dude, you can just post it in my Discord, you ding-dong. It's totally fine. Oh, okay, JJ made 7 and 9. See, the things that I don't know. This is why I kind of like also completely being an idiot and not knowing a lot of things. So I'm fine with it. Are there any other scans that I need to do? Because I have a feeling that we're pretty much done when it comes to the scans. It's not like it's that hard to set up anyways, but... Nonetheless... I'm going to shine a lens flare where the sun don't shine for him if I ever meet him. That's appropriate. That's appropriate as far as I'm aware. We want to start doing giveaways on the streams. What company would you guys like to see us do, like, filament giveaways with? I'd love to know. I would like to look at somebody other than Polymaker. I feel like every streamer that is in this space is doing Polymaker. So I'd love to know who you'd want. Printed Saw. They're on my short list. Yeah, I'll just show you guys. It's like, the silicone sock is already back. The fan is almost completely back. It's just crazy here. I'll leave it like that, and you can just kind of slowly watch it sublimate off over the next, 10, 15 minutes or whatever. Ambrosia from West 3D. I don't know who makes that, because it's not West 3D. My preference is to use, like, a company that is producing their own filament. CookieCAD might be the one that is that like I might make an exception for, because they're the only ones that are using that manufacturer from what I can tell. Berlin says, why not Prusa? Because that's very expensive, and I think it'd be very difficult for us to get that from Prusa. I will ask, but it's much more difficult. Oh crap, the camera's now following me. There we go. I will ask, but I have a feeling that's gonna be a thing. Valen says, I've talked with my local college engineers about a fan duct. Those kids would cream their pants. They tackle a real world problem instead of solving imaginary problems. Well, it is currently the summer for them, so that's not gonna work. But further, we've got teams. We have people on staff that I trust to do it. So, yeah, Sherman Thompson says Hatchbox. I don't even know who runs Hatchbox anymore. Like, where do you get Hatchbox? On Amazon. Okay, well, it's not the same. Hatchbox was great. We used to sell their filament back in the day. But I think now there's a lot more better options. So, oh, getting a phone call. Who's calling me? I'm going to answer this because it's way funnier when I answer this. I figure you're like the only one that's cool enough with me answering the phone telling you that I'm live streaming right now. It's fine. You're not on speaker, but I am live streaming right now, so can I call you back? All right. Thanks, boss. It's a client who has a very strong social media presence. So they're one of the few clients that I can answer the phone and say, hey, we're streaming. So, yeah, so shortlisted right now, we've got Printed Solid, Polar 3D, we've got Cookie CAD, Atomic Filament, and that's kind of it, right? That's kind of all that I have right now. Motiform says, giveaway is for US residents only. That will be up to the filament sponsor. So whoever gives us the filament or the codes or whatever, that will be up to them. I don't want to limit it. If the company that we work with wants to limit it, I'm not going to stop them. Dark Third Dimension says, what about Zero? It's just, I think Polymaker, if I'm going to go with Chinese filament, Polymaker's probably who we're going to choose. But my preference is to support American where we can. A lot of people will just buy from brands because they have a big following, but they don't understand anything about the quality. So I would rather work with some of the smaller brands and work with the bigger ones. That's my personal preference. All right, so hilariously, the Leo did not succeed today, but I guess that makes sense. The Leo is not really designed for this kind of thing, so it can just hang out. I'll leave it right there. It's cool if you come on the stream and you just see the crazy table full of expensive scanners. Although that is very much in my way, so you can just hang out. It looks like Wally's head. It looks like Johnny 5. Nomad says, we're looking at American suppliers for our printing production, but sadly no one is willing to help us in such small quantities. Dude. Dude says he's looking for American suppliers for their printing production, and you never asked me! You ding-dong! You ask me, you dingus! I can work with you in small quantities, but you're not going to get, like, crazy cheap pricing. But yeah, just message me. We'll figure it out. Valen had something to say, but they retracted it. Yeah, that Esun PLA ST is some cool stuff. It's specific. I don't like when Florida Dad and Upside Down Dad start fighting. Well, I guess we now know Nomad's new nickname in the Discord. It's gonna be Upside Down Dad. That's funny. Listen here, son. Listen here, you little... I hate the smell of A-sub. It stinks so bad. Excuse me. Isn't Upside Down Dad just Papper? Oh, Poppy. I'm not calling Nomad Pop. That's not happening. We ain't doing that. That's weird. I am more than happy to say who the cutest streamers are from the guys. Don't have a problem with that, but I'm not calling Nomad Poppy. Oh, Pap. There's things on my screen that get in the way because Dad Upside Down is Pap. No, it's just weird. The white scanner looks identical to the cameras inside a Gundam's eye. Well, I mean, technically they're both white-ish. But, yeah, this one's super cool. Here. There, you can get a better look at the scanner. Hold on. There you go. There's your better look at a crazy expensive piece of technology. Apparently, Poppy was popular amongst ladies liking ladies, according to Ashley. Huh. In the L word. Oh well. No, we got too many Cubans here in Florida as a 50% Cuban here. That's it. Poppy's got nothing to do with ladies liking ladies around here. I will say something really funny about this scanner. The battery has an LCD screen on it that tells you how much charge it has left. Is that necessary? No. Does it make the battery cost $850? Yes. Yes, it does. But, fun fact, if you Google the model number on the battery, you can buy them for $200 from the manufacturer that makes them in Gainesville, Florida. Not that I'm telling you that you should do that, but you do what you want with your $35,000 scanner. I'll do what I want with mine. Cool? Cool. How about storage? How big are the models created by those scanners? Let's save this one and find out, since we haven't actually saved it yet. We'll save it and then we'll go look at it. It's not going to go in Frank's Facts. Artec scans. Folder. XL. Select folder. This is Nextruder. Mind you, this has already been compressed, so there is something to note about the fact that the files are already compressed. So here, 3 gigs, basically. And so we have a project preview, which is PNG file that just kind of shows us a crappy image. We have the data, so this is actually like the scan data that it came with, and then there's the A3D file. The more you know. Ashley says, I saw Tronics fix repair an expensive battery. It was using vape batteries. It needed a replacement chip, which he had. Sure, I know most houses use vape batteries. They use the 2160s, I think. I don't know. Those are very clearly 18650 size, and there's 8 of them. Which I'm assuming is a 4S2P configuration. But I don't know for sure. You guys have any questions? Zach Smith says, oh wait, I know a use for this. It's like Zach's the engineer that's going to be doing the work. Yeah, buddy. And yes, that is the same Zach Smith that is a Sanjay Mortimer Foundation awardee. Zach is freaking awesome. And I finally got to meet him during Smurf. And yes, I sorted my scanner in the bag that it came. Don't ask questions. The $60, $60 freaking dollars for this USB cable, because it's a $30 cable and it's $30 in shipping. Why? Because F you, that's why. That's me currently at a hotel heading for a F1 factory tour tomorrow. Yeah, Zach is a freaking legend. Like, the kid is honestly brilliant. Blows my mind at how he is so intelligent at such a young age. But, yeah. Zach is going to go on to do great things that I will only watch from the sidelines and cheer him on. But I think that's how it goes for a lot of our team. They're destined to do things well beyond 3D Musketeers, but as a manager, as a mentor, as whatever people want to call me, a boss, whatever. My job is to help our team grow. No matter how that looks, my job is to help them grow. All the time. Berlin says, with the high license cost of the software, are you required to always online check for the license or an activation over the phone? It does require you to check in. I think it's once every 90 days for the activation. But yes, yeah, it requires a quasi-online connection. Packing up the scanners because I think we're, at this point, I think we're pretty much done with the scanning. So now we can just kind of hang out and chat if you guys want. Ashley says, I never took the plastic off my 2021 computer's window, nor do I finish building it. The wires are hanging out the back. Works though. I feel that. And here's the case for the Leo. It's got other stuff in it, because we took this with us to Colorado, so it's got other stuff in it. Like, it's got a bunch of batteries for my Sony cameras, and it's got an emergency battery bank. But yeah, it has like a, I've learned to pull the battery because sometimes it can turn itself on. It's got space for 4 batteries, charger, the scanner, and some other accessories in the case. By the way, this case, $600. The case of the Spider, $400. I think Artec is now including the case with the Leo. Fairly certain they are. But could be worse. Yeah. That camera is not right. It's been bothering me the whole damn time. The camera's not right, and I'm going to fix it, because it's going to really upset me until I get it right. I'm going to change over to front only real quick, because I've got a bone to pick with this. Give me a second. Because like this... Oh, God. I almost died. Oh, man. Yeah, that's like way closer to being right. I think. Yeah, that's way more better. Okay. Way more better. Alright, that bothers me a whole lot less. Yeah, that's... It's more closer to the ticket. Zach says that you think the best title for... Thinks Grant's best title is Total Legend. Nah, man. I'm not a legend. I'm just a guy. I'm not... In the vast majority of this world, I don't matter. I will have a very small impact on your life that might last or it might not. Right? But if we can help you through some of these tough times and get you to that next goalpost and meet your next goals in life, then damn it, I've done my job. I'm a helper, man. That's what I do. I like to help others. Oh, that stuff stinks. ASAP stinks. Valen says, if you point the scanner to a mirror that's reflecting an object, would it still scan it, or would it just get the flat surface of the mirror as a result? We kind of know this. It will reflect off, and it will capture the object to some extent. The problem that you run into is you'll only be able to capture what the mirror can immediately see. If you try to move the mirror, it's going to move too fast. It ends up becoming like a galvanometer, basically, and the scan will fail. This is a common thing that happens when we scan vehicles, and we go to their side mirrors, and it will scan my hand with the scanner. So it does happen. It does happen. Zach says, all I'm taking from this is that 3D scanners are worse capitalism than inkjet printers. No, this scanner is just these scanners are very expensive. There are decent scanners out there for low money. In fact, I own quite a few of them. We have like over a dozen 3D scanners here in the shop. However, my preference, smoke them if you got them. Right? Smoke them if you got them. Ash's inkjet is just stupid. Just get a color laser. They're 1000x better. And they don't cost that much more. Mine is 14 years old and still works. It has the original toner, but it's running low. I have an older HP color laser that I bought when my Canon finally died. My Canon inkjet finally died. I gotta clean the rollers on it, but yeah, otherwise it runs like a... It runs beautifully. I have no issues with it at all. Valen says, I sincerely doubt that humanity can come up with something more evil than inkjet printers. Insulin. Next question. The answer you're looking for that is worse on a capitalistic scale than ink is insulin. But, you know, I have no control over it. Dark Third Dimension says, I'm going to build a Voron. Any advice? If you haven't done it before, learn how to code. And have a lot of patience. And don't do it on camera. All of those things were things that did not work out well for me. Just making sure that I don't have to do any more scans. Like, the scans specifically are also for a fan who's working on this too. Code, who needs that when you have duet boards, right? Dude, that's what I was saying. I wish Clipper had the same kind of interface as RepRap firmware, but it doesn't. And that sucks. Does anybody else have any questions? Because I think otherwise we might call it. I'm very happy with the final model. That is going to be great for what we need. We have the step model for this and the step model for some other pieces on here. But, like, you can read original Prusa. Like, if I take the model and just, like... There you go. I mean, it's a little fuzzy, which makes sense because you're photocopying a photocopy, basically. It totally freaking works. Totally freaking works. Like, you can even see where I added grease and lube to the brass pins, right? The scanner picks up way more detail than you think it does. I've got the wires, got the heater cartridge. I've got the heat shrink that's on the wires. So I can even find the layer lines. Like, those are layer lines in the print. And you can see right where the A sub stops. And so you can see that's all A sub. That is it trying to scan the black print. It's kind of crazy. We don't do a great job picking up the pattern on the bolts, but I don't expect it to. We're not running a CMM or anything like that. We're running a handheld scanner. I would say pretty comfortably we're at a 0.2 millimeter tolerance for this. And since it's 3D printing, I think that's a totally fair tolerance to have. You might say, well, Grant, my scanner can do better. Then go ahead. I can remesh this. I can do an isotropic remesh here to like 0.05 millimeters, and it will rerun all of that data until it gets it to a certifiable level. But for what we're doing, it doesn't matter, right? We don't need... This isn't one of those things where this is like life or death. We're messing around. We're having fun. Valen asks, have I seen the new 24/7 printing beta printer from 24/7 Printing? I like that little thing. Speed Monster. Really tempted to build one. I have seen it. I don't think we're going to be doing something that in depth anytime soon. The Voron build has kind of showed me that I have a lot to still learn on the software side of things. And I think that while I have a pretty decent grasp on the hardware, and I'm comfortable with the hardware, other than running belts, Steve, but other than that, like, I'm pretty confident in my abilities to build a Voron. What I'm not confident in is the software, right? And that knowing that when I do something, I'm doing it right the first time. Properly. So, and that's probably my downside at the moment. It's probably my downside of it. Dark 30 mentions I could code a fair bit, mostly Arduino, but a bit of Python. You should be okay then. But being able to read kind of the basic idea using the brackets and that kind of thing will be pretty helpful with this kind of stuff. Because, like, honestly, the build of the Voron wasn't that bad. I did enjoy it a fair bit. It was the programming side where I was just totally lost. And I'm still pretty lost on it, which is a bummer, but it's life. Zach Smith says, speaking of belts, it broke my mind when programming a CR30 and you just set the Z to 9999999 and the rest is standard DWC setup. Go figure. General says, I'm still learning Clipper. I've been using ChatGPT to help me understand the macro code, but definitely feel there is a need for a good course on Clipper, even if it's Voron specific, but in depth. Yeah. I did my best to approach that Voron from the perspective of someone that had never built a Voron before, because I hadn't, right? I didn't do any research. I just kind of sent it. And a lot of people said you should have done your research, but I know a lot of them didn't do it for theirs either. They just learned the hard way that I should. Is that necessarily the right thing to do? I don't know. Part of me says yes, because that's what everybody else is gonna do. The other part of me says no, I should have been the bastion of this is how you do it right. Well, I said, okay, I can be the bastion of doing it right anytime that I want. But you only get to do it the first time once. So I approached it from a newbie's perspective. I don't regret it. It's just a bit of a bummer. Zach Smith says, honestly, learning the hard way is learning the right way. Well, you don't ever make a lot of those mistakes again. Valen says, I honestly just asked ChatGPT to configure stuff for me. I just fed it the basic structure and my pins, and it changed what needed to be changed. There is value there. We didn't do any of that. And I think if I was off camera without chat, we probably would have had a better experience. And I don't think that that's an unreasonable thing to go after. However, it is nice to have help when you need it, right? Here, I'll show you guys. how much of it's come off already. Some of the flatter surfaces are going to hold the color for a little bit. But like literally I can basically like wipe it. Oh, it's in the crevices of the print. Some of the smooth surfaces you can just kind of wipe and it comes right off, which is kind of cool. Anyways, y'all, I think that's gonna call it. I think we had a great experience. We did a great job with the scan. Scan looks beautiful. This will make life a lot easier for our designers. Mostly Zach, since Zach is going to be taking the helm on this one. Zach says, adding the spray affect the surface finish on the scan much? No, the software seems to kind of, you know, deal with that in most cases. However, it can. But I'd rather have it affect the surface just a little bit instead of it not scanning the surface at all. So you kind of play, you know, best of whichever world that you want. John Olson says, "Did I ever get a Mark IV? Not yet. Maybe soon. I don't know." Lord Kitface says, "Is there anything special you need to do for scanning people?" Let me go back to Big Grant for this one, because it's like I have a ton of experience in this. In fact, I've scanned celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Steve Aoki, Anthony Anderson, Lawrence Fishburne, Ronda Rousey, and a bunch of others. There he is. And it has very little to do with scanning, hilariously. It has so much to do with the prep. It has to do with getting a turntable. But getting a turntable that can fit a human will make your life so much better. Get a turntable. Yes, you can walk around them, but it gets tiring. You don't need the world's best 3D scanner to do this, right? I use an Artec EVA, but for many years, I use an occipital structure scanner on an iPad Air 2, which I still own, and it still works. This is good enough for most of what people want. Now, if you're doing something that's high res, obviously it's a little bit different. The trick with high res is to do multiple scans. There is no reason that you need to scan an entire person with like an Artec spider. You can scan their face with an Artec spider and then scan the rest of them with an EVA or a Leo, right? And you get high detail where it's required, low detail where it doesn't matter. If you're going to be printing in full color, right? Because that's another thing that I specialize in. I have a full color printer sitting off of the set. It is for sale as well. It's a full color 3D printer. I would like to get 30,000 out of it. That'd be great. In fact, I would sell the LiDAR scanner and the full color printer for $45,000 all in. Just saying. I would do a deal on that. 45 grand, take them both. But I say that you have to understand the processes that you're going to be working with. If you're going to be doing really small people, like resin printing, you care about more detail in the hair and in the face than you do about anywhere else. Your goal, because people care about their faces a lot. Uncanny Valley, which deals with the distance between your eyes and your nose, is a huge issue. And if you don't get their face in one pass, you're going to have to go back and redo it. You don't have a choice. Let's see. But you're the Prusa shill. How does that work? You should feel left down. Well, you win some, you lose some, right? Lord Getface says, mainly it would be head scaled down to 1/40th scale for printing. So you're doing like a bust scan. An Einstar would probably be really good for that, by the way, for whatever that might be worth to you. I would say if you have the computer, an Einstar is going to go blow to blow with an EVA, but an EVA is going to come with calibration and Einstar is not. So.
Zach Smith says, I'll take 5. Nomad says, I love printing small people. Zach Smith says, I really want to do a scan of my dog at some point. Animals are very, very difficult to scan. They don't sit still. They are much easier to scan when they cross the Rainbow Bridge, if you feel me. It would not be the first time you've ever scanned a late family pet, if you will. But, yeah, I mean, we've tried, even with, like, properly trained dogs, and they tend to track you with their head as you're walking around them. So it sucks. Like, we've tried with police and the police dogs. We've tried with show dogs. We've tried with everything from Belgian Malinois. I've tried scanning my dad's dog, which is Dogo Argentino. I've tried scanning Victoria. It doesn't work. It is often, in that case, better to scan as much of the dog as you can, or much of the animal as you can. Take really good photos and have a really, really good ZBrush artist do it in post. Fake it. That's not something you're going to hear often, but a lot of stuff that we do ends up getting faked, right? So if you guys watch Zach Friedman's latest video, we're in it. We're actually right at the end. And we scan Zach along with a Blahai and Christopher, the talking quagsire that he made. I have the Christopher and the quagsire model. I guess I could pull them up. No, I haven't sent them to Zach. I don't want to show them to you guys. I haven't sent them to Zach yet. But both of those are pretty much good to go. Zach, because he has curly hair and a curly beard, it has to go to a designer, and then now I'm at the mercy of one of our designers to do it. So, yeah, to do animals, you need a photogrammetry array, like a 40-plus camera DSLR photogrammetry array, where they're all triggered at once, and then all of that data gets pushed wirelessly or via USB to a computer. It is an assload of data, but it is really the only way to capture animals when they're alive, if you aren't gonna cheat it. Ashley said, I thought Abby was gonna cross that bridge recently. She came close. She's taking steroids now. It seems to be helping. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Seabass says it could be done with Boots take a bunch of photos at the same time, I guess. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Oh, what's the software for that? Oh, what's the software for that? What the heck's the photogram? Oh, it's gonna bother me. What's the photogrammetry software? It's out of Russia too. That's the worst. I know a lot of people use reality capture. Agisoft. It is Agisoft. It used to be called Agisoft Photoscan, but I guess it's now called Agisoft Metashape. I know a lot of people use reality capture. So there are options. Polycam is, I'm sorry, it's for chumps. Polycam is not useful for anything on a business scale. It's great if you're screwing around and you just want to use your cell phone to do some baseline scanning, but it's not going to produce results that you can sell, right? Dark Third Dimension says, I imagine scanning animals would be a lot easier with a bit of taxidermy. Yep, it is. Fortunately, it is. Imagine managing 40 USB cables to one computer. It's actually normally 2 or 3 computers. And then those computers send all of that data to one other computer. It is a nightmare. And I've seen the setups. I've got photos of it somewhere. I wonder if I search camera, if I can find it. Let me go to my Google Photos. We used to have one locally. We used to do all their printing. Let's see if it'll pull it up. It's going to be like way back in like 2015. Probably. And if I can't get it this way, now that didn't. Let me look for a lion, because I was scanning a lion. Just don't ask questions, really. Alright, so sometime March of 2015. So let's go back to 2015. February, March 2015 is probably when all of this happened. I was clean shaven back then. Holy crap. Alright, there you go. Phone screen is visible. That's fine. Supposed to be. There you go. That was the local rig that did it. So you can see there is a ton of Canon DSLRs, a bunch of lighting. Yeah. Valen said I missed their prior comment. Oh, any plans to visit Argentina anytime soon? I would be glad to invite you and your companions to a big asado if you happen to be somewhat close to Buenos Aires, as a thank you for the help in the vids. I don't think so. However, maybe. I'll let you know. If you ever find yourself coming over to Florida, let me know. And that goes for anybody, right? I'm totally happy to meet up with fans. If you all happen to be in the Florida area and you're near Tampa and you want to get together, just let me know. Happy to hang out. Can't do it here. It's a little dangerous here. But yeah, I don't mind getting together with people. I'm not your typical, like, don't talk to me content creator. I love meeting people. It's fun. FJ Princess looks expensive. It is. Yeah, that rig had 60 cameras, I think. And Jordy's right. Alignment is the hardest thing to accomplish there. It takes a lot of time and effort. It's about a 3-day process to set up and tear that down. It takes a very long time to do it. And I think that's ultimately why that company went under. They were not portable, and you were forced to go to them. Our scanners didn't get anywhere near the resolution, right? They got a lot of resolution. But yeah, Seabass says it could be like 2K per camera. No, those are like Canon T5s or T6s. They don't have to be expensive cameras. They could be point and shoots, honestly, as long as they all fire at roughly the same time. That's all that you need. I know that from experience. With other cameras. Okay, good to know. Good to know. But you can get a booth, like Twindom makes a booth that you can get that people can walk into and get scanned in. There's a whole thing about that. Anyways, I'm watching viewers drop off of this, so I think it's time for us to call this one adieu. I thank you all for coming out. Thank you for hanging out as we scanned the Prusa XL toolhead. I mean, honestly, it looks freaking great. That's a phenomenal scan and will be very, very easy for our team to take and digitize and make that useful inside a CAD. So, thank you all for coming out. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. Let me know if you want more scanning content. By the way, should we do more scanning content? Because, like, we kind of can do that thing. Oh, Seabass says I saw Adam Savage in the video. There's a story about that. If you're on our Discord, ask me about it later. See you guys. Take care.